What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Ethan Galstad, this one is for you. Galstad, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, but Ethan, you made a comment saying that you like Bitcoin, my Bitcoin Cash videos, and I really appreciate that, man. Obviously, this video isn't just for Ethan; it's for anyone who wants to watch it. But Ethan, you were the wind beneath my wings on this. You inspired me to push this out. I wanted to make a Bitcoin Cash video because there is some stuff going on the BCH BTC pair, and we'll get into that. But your comment just kind of put a little fire under my ass and made me want to make this video a little quicker than I was planning on doing. So here we are. I'm going to give a short-term kind of outlook. I'll go over the long-term outlook, and then we'll look at the BCH BTC pair. And I can talk about what I think about Bitcoin Cash too. Let's start with that. Actually, I like Bitcoin Cash, guys. I think it is a good crypto. I think it's here to stay. I'm not a Bitcoin Cash maxi over Bitcoin maxi. It's okay if you are. I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I'm in it for the TA, man. I'm in it for whatever. I do personally think BTC and BCH are both they are literally both the same thing. Bitcoin Cash is better. BTC is more decentralized and it has a bigger user base, or bigger miner base, however you want to put it. But they are the same thing. Bitcoin Cash forked. It didn't even fork from Bitcoin. It didn't fork from it. Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin forked into Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. And Bitcoin Cash wanted to be Bitcoin, and Bitcoin, they were trying to call it Bitcoin Core. So really, they are the same. They come, if you go back in time on their blockchains, they connect to the same thing because they are the same thing. Other than the fact that Bitcoin Cash is faster, has cheaper fees, stuff like that. It's just more scalable technically. It is a better Bitcoin, quite literally, but they're the same thing. Acting like they're two different things, and they are right now. They're two different things, of course, but acting like Bitcoin Cash is just some kind of scam that was made from the ether, and it just it was someone's idea and they put it out there. No, that's not what happened. It literally, you go back in time, it once was the exact same as what we identify as BTC now. It didn't fork off of BTC. BTC didn't fork off of Bitcoin Cash. It was BTC, and then it hard forked, right? It wasn't a soft fork. It was a hard fork between the two. That's what a hard fork is. But people don't like to acknowledge that because they like to hate on Bitcoin Cash. It's got a very bad, it doesn't have good PR, but enough about that. I do like Bitcoin Cash. I can see through all the BS that people tout, all the FUD and stuff. But let's look at the charts. Let's get to the real technical stuff here. So the stuff that probably most people came here for. So the RSI, the short-term RSI here looks good. Long-term RSI is above the 50. This looks good too. When I say it looks good, don't get too excited. It looks good on the 1 hour, which means that we can make 1 hour moves, which again, this whole move up here is 8%. Okay, so from bottom to top, maybe we look good for an 8% move, which would put us less than 115 or around 115. Nothing spectacular. I would love to make 8% instead of lose 8%, but it's nothing spectacular. It's nothing that we haven't seen already or seen before. We are having higher highs, higher lows. It looks nice. Ultimately, though, that is a pretty bearish candle. That is a pretty, the drops to me, I guess we were moving sideways here for a little bit, but in recent times, the drops look more dramatic than the moves up do. So I would say the bears are in control, but right now, for the time being, I think the bulls have the ball in their court and they want to take the price a little bit higher. If we were to take from here, from the come on now, from bottom to top, a little bit. Oh, that's not where it is. Okay, right there. We bounced right off or we haven't bounced yet, but we're at the 382, holding it as support. Previous areas of resistance, holding it as support now. It looks good. I'd say it wants to go up. If we were to measure, if we were to assume that this was the current low for this area, maybe it goes a little lower, whatever. Maybe it goes, instead of to where it is now, maybe it goes a little bit lower, like here. Maybe it goes to 105. Maybe it drops a whole dollar more. The extensions would be around 110 to 112, something like that. Even if it doesn't go that low, and this low is the low at 106.5. Again, 110 to just under 112. Same kind of area. That's what I would expect in the short term. And ultimately, I would think that Bitcoin Cash would turn around and go down with Bitcoin once it does that. On a 4-hour perspective, you are below the 50. You're well below the 50 on the long-term RSI. I know that being at a reading that's like around 47 right now, that's close to the 50. It's not, man. Every 1 point is pretty significant on this long-term RSI. Like the 50 is way up here, right? It's like way up here, and we haven't been there. We've been making lower highs, lower lows. It doesn't look good. This does look a little bit good. We're in the bullish control zone right now. We're just outside of it, but basically close enough. Potential to get back into it. We have 2 hours and 45 minutes left in this candle. This looks like it wants to go overbought. And if we zoom out here, you can see that all of these little, and it's just a big sideways nothingness, just like Bitcoin, right? Just little whoop, 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 but mainly just sideways. Every time that we've come up, we had a nice little pump. We were in this overbought territory, right? Overbought territory, and then we came down. Overbought territory here, and then we came down. Overbought territory, then we came down. I wouldn't be surprised if before this move is over and we start to turn down, if we got into the overbought territory. And again, a move like that wouldn't be stupendous. It could take us, up here around these prices, around like 115. It could take us up there. It could take us higher even. But I would more expect around 110 to 112, something like that. That's my current expectation for the price. I think that will happen in the next day or so. And then, in the coming week, we'll probably move lower. Ultimately, I do think Bitcoin Cash is due for some downside, just like the rest of crypto. It's not exempt. It might not. It might not go as low. Anything can happen, Bitcoin Cash is kind of special in a certain sense because it has some big players behind it. But we're rejecting the 618 here, potentially. We bounced off it. We held it as support a little bit, and then we got below it. This is kind of classic fib behavior. If you want to take notes on this, this isn't just for Bitcoin Cash. This is for any time you use a fib. If you're new to using fibs or you've been using them for a while but you don't know this about them, this is something I think that can be helpful. So in a good way, because you never know. You never know whenever you have your fib range. Is it going to go to the 886? Is it going to go to the 786? Is it going to go to the 618? Is it going to, you never know. You really don't. This isn't me telling you how you're going to know. You don't know. But something that helps you determine the general area you might find a bounce on these fibs, where you might see relevance, is when you get certain readings, right? Whenever you see a bounce off the 618, you come back up, you find resistance on the 236, you see a bounce off the 618 again and again. If we were to go on the daily time frame, I'm pretty sure you get a better look at this. Yeah, bounce, bounce, bounce. You found significance on the 618 3 different times, held it as support 3 different times. Now you're holding it as resistance. Generally, if you were to make a move like this, right, coming down, and you bounce off the 618, that indicates to me that you are very likely going to bounce off the 786 or the 886 when you get down there. And look at what we did when we finally got down here. We bounced off the 886, like quite literally, bounced right off it. So would that be the same if we didn't hold the 618? If we just went straight through, would we hold the 886 still? I doubt it. I mean, maybe we bounce a little bit off it, it's completely possible, but you're, at the most, like you bounce up to the 618 and then you go down. But truthfully, whenever you break through the 618 like that, the most likely thing to happen is you're going to see this 1272 and then come back up to the 886 as resistance and then move lower. That's the thing. So that's the kind of little detour of a lesson in just fibs, not just Bitcoin Cash, but in fibs that I want to give out there. This is from stuff that I know that I've personally experienced time and time and time again, is that when you hold this 618 as support several times, the odds of you not seeing extensions go up. So you're not going to see these extensions. You're more likely just going to see these deep retracements around 786 and 886. The odds of you holding these levels, a lot more likely. And in fact, if this was any other chart besides Bitcoin Cash, I would be inclined to believe that we're probably going to make a move up above this high here. But the fact that I'm bearish on most crypto, and I don't think Bitcoin Cash is safe from that. And we just really have just been moving sideways, right? We've got lower highs, lower lows. Like technically this is a higher low than this one, but it's lower low than there. It's a lower low than our most immediate lows, and we have lower highs. The purple line's pointed down. I'm not too excited for Bitcoin Cash. I do think that this fib looks nice. It definitely looks nice. But if we get below the 618 and we prove it as resistance, if we hold it as resistance, I don't care how many times we bounced off it before. If now we're holding it as resistance, the odds that we see these extensions are a lot more likely. And this is actually where I expect Bitcoin Cash to bottom. Anywhere from this 1272 to the 1886, between $52 and $74, somewhere around there, that's where I expect it to bottom. And I don't expect these. I don't expect the 1786 and the 1886 as much as I do these three. I expect those three to happen a lot more than I do these. But any of it's possible. Even the 2272 or lower, even that. It could bounce in this no man's land, in the dead space land. I doubt that. I very much doubt that. But this is all, again, this isn't like a prophecy. It's not a prediction of what is, or it's not like it is a prediction. It's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee that this is what's going to happen. It's an idea. And that's why fibs are nice. It's an idea. The idea, like, it could have kept going lower here, but the idea is if you hold the 618 as support enough times, you're probably going to find significance on the 886 or the 786. Probably. If you reject the 618 from here, you're probably going to find significance on the 1272 or the 1618. Probably. It's not definitely, but I would bet my money, and I am betting my money because I'm not in Bitcoin Cash, that we go down here. But I do want to scoop some up down at these levels, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw $61 or $60, somewhere around there. Anyways, short term, I think we go, at the highest, maybe to this green line here, the 0.5 around 115. 110 to 115, somewhere in there, a little bit higher. Maybe we go $1 lower before then, but I think we are on our way up, just a little bit up. And then from there, we'll continue making our lower lows and lower highs. It's not going to be a straight move down. When we do get down here, there will be bigger moves. We always get very big moves to kind of finish the downtrend. Very big move here, and then sideways. This is still down, but it's like sideways. It's more choppy. It's not as direct as this move is here, right? Big move and then chop. So whenever we do get down here, it's either going to be a big move like this, or a big move like this, or it's going to be a big move like this, and then we chop our way down there. But either way, I'm not expecting that to happen immediately. What I'm expecting to happen immediately is up a little bit, and then we'll go down a little bit. Not too much dramatically, probably. But, when I say immediately, I mean like this week. Next week could be a different story. But yeah, I hope I wasn't too confusing there. I hope I got everything out that I needed to say. Up a little bit before we go down more. That's basically what I think about Bitcoin Cash. I'm not trading it. I'm not shorting it or longing it. I wouldn't recommend shorting or longing it. Actually, if you wanted to short Bitcoin Cash, I think the best place to short it would be above this purple line, and that's at 120, which I don't think we're going to get there. So I personally wouldn't. And the reason why is because Bitcoin Cash has these little just miracle rallies, these little dramatic pumps, and then afterwards it just shits the bed, or over time it proceeds to go lower. So I'm not, it could happen. We could get a little miracle pump right here that even takes us to 130 as long as we're lower highs here, whatever. We could even go higher than that, but I'm not expecting that. I don't anticipate that. I would expect more around 110 to 115 is the move, and then from there we go lower. Okay, now that I've said that 10 times, let's get into BCH, BTC. We'll do Coinbase. Coinbase is fine. So I do remember whenever I talked about this last time that I was really excited. I really liked the look that we were getting from bottom to top here. We bounced right off. Is that right there? Is it? Yeah. We bounced right off the 618. We held it as support. Unfortunately, we came down below it, which is not necessarily a good thing, but guess what? Guess what is a good thing? We closed right at it. So even though we wicked below it, that's okay. We closed right at it still. We still held it as support. We wicked below it, but we did not break the line. This week it opened below it a little bit, but we bounced off it. I'm definitely bullish on this line. At this point in time, I would expect that Bitcoin Cash, first Bitcoin, holds this area. And ultimately, what I'm really expecting from Bitcoin Cash is that we make moves higher. That this could be on this whole chart for Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin, this could be the low. This really could be the low. We could have seen it last week. But this area, this could very much be the low. And we might be making a move right now to somewhere in like this area up here, somewhere, you know, where we were previously. And maybe we go higher, maybe we go lower, I don't know. You know, it could go a little bit higher than that. It could, you know, maybe it tops off around where this range is. I don't know. But ultimately, I would expect that we're going to make a move something like that. On this chart, it would be a, let's see, what kind of percentage? You know, like an 80% move. 80% to 60 to 80% move. That's what I would expect on the Bitcoin Cash versus BTC pair. Now, this does not mean this can go up and Bitcoin Cash still drops in price. This does not mean that Bitcoin Cash gains value versus the dollar. It just gains value versus Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin drops, but Bitcoin Cash doesn't drop as hard, then it's going to gain value against Bitcoin. That's basically all that's saying. Or if Bitcoin pumps and Bitcoin Cash pumps harder, then it's going to gain value against Bitcoin. That's basically it. Bitcoin Cash could even stay level while Bitcoin drops, and it would gain value. I do like this chart. I think we have right now, what's kind of nice about this lower little dip here on the wicking perspective, we've actually got bullish divergence here in the oversold areas. This looks really strong, man. Like versus Bitcoin, I know Bitcoin's the safe haven, but Bitcoin Cash right now might be more of a safe haven than Bitcoin is, even, like quite literally, at least for the coming weeks to months even. We could be still, and I don't think we've shown signs yet that we're done with this downtrend. I think that this has a solid chance of being the bottom, like being the absolute bottom for Bitcoin Cash. It has a decent chance of that, but there's nothing to ultimately suggest that yet. We still have lower highs, we have lower lows. If we were to really do something to in the charts suggest that this low is the low, first things first, we got to take out this high. Next things next, we got to take out this high. And then in between there, at some point, we got to get above the purple line, which I don't think we've ever done on this chart. It doesn't have enough data really, but yeah, we've never done it. So any of those things would be things that we're looking for, but we're months away from any of that happening, or weeks at the bare minimum, but probably months. So something to look for in the future, not something to really keep a close eye on right now. I don't expect a move like this to happen. This happened in the middle of the bull market, right? I don't expect this to happen right now. Nothing like this. This happened toward the end of the bear market. I don't expect something big moves like this to happen. Probably more like this, like a gradual up move. Maybe even something like this. You know, it could be like quick looking, but not dramatic like these guys are. So yeah, that's my whole spiel on Bitcoin Cash. I like Bitcoin Cash. I think it's gonna go up from here, just a little bit, and then it's gonna go down. And ultimately, I think the low that we're going to see for Bitcoin Cash is anywhere from like $72 or $74, right, to $60, something like that. And then from there, if you've stayed long enough to hear all the stuff that I think is going to happen in the relative time frames, let's get bullish. Let's get bullish on Bitcoin Cash real quick. Let's do some bullish stuff, all right? If and when Bitcoin Cash drops that low, you know, let's say it is at 64. Let's say it's right here at this previous low. Let's say we double bottom perfectly. And actually a perfect double bottom, maybe we do a slightly, just so slightly lower low. The 1272 right here at this previous all-time high, which is at $4,300. The 1618, $11,500. The 1886, $26,800. I want you guys to know that none of these are in play. None of them are in play yet. They will be in play as soon as we break this 618, around $492, basically $500. That's why this orange line is very significant, because again, the same thing, I didn't even mean for this to happen, but the same thing, once, we don't have to break through it on the first pass. We can, come down to the 236, whatever, come up, we can do the same kind of thing, right? It's just stair step and then come up. We can do that. We could break it on the first pass. We could totally break it on the first pass. That's totally fine. Regardless, though, we have to get above this 618 if we want to see these come into existence. And if we find it as resistance at first, and then we get above it, odds are we're going to stop around the 786 or the 886. We're going to stop somewhere in that range. But if we get above it, regardless of how many attempts we've had before, if we get above it and then we hold it as support and we bounce from there, if we get above it, even if we don't hold the 618 as support, if we came up to the 886, held the 786 as support, any of these lines above or at the 618, if we hold them as support, it's going to be very indicative, and in fact, I would say very, indicative, compelling, whatever word you want to use, that we are at a minimum going to move to around 4K ultimately, or at a maximum $26,800 or higher potentially even. But I would look more, again, I would look more around the 1618 to the 1272 personally, which is anywhere from $3,800 to $11,500. And what's nice about that is if Bitcoin Cash does drop to the areas I'm thinking it's going to drop, like this all-time low, right? If it drops there around $73, $74, and we were to go to areas around this previous all-time high, you're looking at a 58x, 5,700% gain, a 58x. If it was to go to 11,000, the 1618, 11,500 actually, you'd be looking at about 155x. 155x. $1,000 becomes 155 grand. And it takes a while sometimes. You know, Bitcoin Cash, it does move fast when it likes to move. But you know, like this whole move up, it didn't just go straight up to here. It went up, and then we were sideways for a year, man, and then we went up. You know, so this could take years. It could genuinely take years before we get up into this price area. But if you've got patience and you know you're in crypto for the right reasons, I think that this could play out very bullishly in the long term. And I do expect, honestly, in this next bull market that Bitcoin Cash would and will get into these extension areas. Actually, I'm sorry, I had it drawn wrong. Into these extension areas, right? Around $4,000 to even up to 26 grand, somewhere in that range. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Yeah. So without any further ados and don'ts, I like Bitcoin Cash. I don't think that it's the right time to get in. I do think it's going to go lower. Roger Ver and the boys are probably holding it up here, but we probably go a little bit lower, maybe not quite that low, not at $47, but once it goes lower, the Bitcoin Cash crew is gonna scoop everything up down here, and then it's off to the moon, man. It probably that's my expectation for Bitcoin Cash. So again, short term, a little bullish to about $110 to $112. I'm a little bit bullish. Right? If we're looking here around to like this area, and then from there probably down. And I don't think that that's the beginning of the move down to the lows that I'm looking for, but I do think it is just another lower high in a series of lower highs and lower lows that we have. So without any more beating this over the head with a jackhammer, I like Bitcoin Cash. That's all I got. And yeah. Leave a like, subscribe, see more videos, whatever. Thank you guys for coming. Really appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.